Shit, I wanted to be an Avenger. F the Avengers.
Every movie in the Deadpool franchise has been a success, including the recent one, Deadpool and Wolverine, which has made over $1 billion at the box office. The way the mutants were slowly infused into the Deadpool franchise is something that worked to a T, but the introduction of the greatest mutant in history, the Wolverine, added a new kind of spice to this incredible dish. In the 90s, the Wolverine was brought to the TV screens in the X-Men animated series, which eventually became a massive success. The success of the series paved the way for the rise of the X-Men franchise in other media. After the animated series, Hugh Jackman brought the clawed anti-hero to life, and his portrayal of the Wolverine is one of the most celebrated performances in superhero cinema. Over a stretch of 17 years and 9 movies, he turned the Wolverine into a cinematic legend. In 2017's Logan, he gave a career-defining performance as an older, broken hero, grappling with loss and redemption. The movie Logan was able to humanize Wolverine in ways we had never seen before. Way before the addition of Wolverine into the Deadpool franchise, Logan had been referenced in the first 2 Deadpool movies, with the character Deadpool having an immense interest in the Wolverine. From the official trailers by Marvel, we get to catch a glimpse of Logan in his iconic yellow tiger suit, something fans have been dying for. The comic-accurate suit for the Wolverine was never used in Hugh Jackman's portrayal of the phenomenal character. The goal at that time was to avoid anything that might feel overly cartoonish. The success of films like 2008 Iron Man and the MCU eventually shifted perceptions, making comic-inspired costumes more accepted and celebrated. The appearance of Hugh Jackman coming back to play the Wolverine in his comic-accurate costume was a big deal, but the only problem was that this one was not the one from the comics or the animated show or even the X-Men movies either. Fans got introduced to the worst Wolverine to ever exist.
But you have outdone yourself and brought me the worst Wolverine!
On his birthday, Wade Wilson was abducted by the TVA. This is where he gets to learn that the anchor being of his universe is dead, and within the next 72 hours, his universe will slowly go out of existence. The anchor being in this context was Logan, the Wolverine who died in 2017. Mr. Paradox, the man in charge of the fate of his universe, gives Wade Wilson 2 choices. Move to the sacred timeline and become an Avenger, or stay in your universe and endure your life of no substance. This was a tough call. The TVA knew how much Deadpool wanted to be an Avenger and matter. Mr. Paradox was literally ready to give Wade Wilson everything he ever wanted at a very costly price. Mr. Paradox is not your average villain. He's a man who feels invincible because of the power he has in the TVA. As he said himself, the universe doesn't need a babysitter, it needs a mercy killer. And he, Mr. Paradox, is the mercy killer. With the help of the Time Reaper, Mr. Paradox can be able to get rid of any universe he doesn't like or care to babysit. Wade Wilson finally decides to physically assault Mr. Paradox, gets hold of his time machine, and travel across the universe in search of a new anchor being. We get to see different variants of Logan, and surprisingly, all of them are very violent for some reason. Deadpool finally found a Wolverine who was relatively not out for blood on sight.
You actually think you can replace an anchor being?
Deadpool was able to bring this Wolverine to the TVA for him to be used as a replacement. This didn't go down well as Deadpool and the Wolverine were sent to the Void, a secluded universe which is literally a junkyard for the TVA. The relationship between Deadpool and the Wolverine was very toxic in the beginning. Both men were fighting each other the least chance they got. I personally found it quite exhausting because both of them can never die. Their powers are relatively similar to some points, so fighting each other is just a waste of time to me. I guess they did this for more action so that people will enjoy the action between the Wolverine and the Deadpool. All this while Deadpool was just begging to have Logan on board and help him save his universe. But as the pathetic Wolverine that he was, he just wanted to drink booze and get shit-faced. Doesn't care about anything, anyone, or any fate of anyone's universe. But why is this one like this? What went wrong in his life to push him into this kind of state? In the much further scene, we get to hear a side of the story. This was when he and Deadpool were taken into the camp of the Resistance. This was the only time we get to see this Logan break down emotionally since his first appearance at the bar. The members of the X-Men in his universe used to beg him to join their team and use his powers for the greater good. He will in return belittle them and point out how ridiculous they all look to him. All efforts to get him on board proved futile. This was until one day, the humans in his universe went mutant hungry. And sadly, The only people who have ever showed him true love and care were taken out by the humans. On that very day, he was out drinking as usual, couldn't help his people, and this traumatic event made him just give up and choose not to do anything meaningful with his life anymore. This traumatic event is what made him finally wear the yellow suits, as this was the only way he could actually remember his people and pay tribute to them in his own little way. When people experience trauma, they often struggle with intense emotional pain. For some, turning to alcohol is a coping mechanism that can seem like a way to numb their feelings, just like in the case of this Logan.
I want to be the man that Charles thought I was.
Deadpool was finally able to convince the Resistance to help him in his quest to save his world by getting out of the void. Everyone was on board except for Logan, subconsciously repeating the same mistake he did in his own universe. At the final showdown, the heroes went to face Cassandra Nova and the minions, saying she was the only one who could actually help get Deadpool out of the void. To everyone's surprise, the Wolverine came along and joined the fight. This move by Logan shows his change of heart and mind. Maybe by saving Deadpool's universe, he can actually get some closure and be liberated. Cassandra is an overpowered twin sister of Professor X, and according to her origins in this story, she was sent into the void at a very young age. This isolation from other normal people shaped her life in a terrible way, making her a person with no soul and sympathy for others. The guys were able to finally have the upper hand on Cassandra thanks to Juggernaut's helmet. While she was vulnerable, her right-hand man, Pyro, goes for the kill. She was instantly avenged by the Wolverine and Deadpool. At the point of death, the Wolverine shows mercy and compassion for Cassandra.
Take it off!
I am wearing this suit. It means I'm an X-Man.
This display of mercy from the guys forces Cassandra to also return the good deed. She proceeds to teleport Deadpool and Wolverine out of the void, just in time to stop Mr. Paradox from using the Time Reaper to end Deadpool's universe. As soon as Cassandra learns that Mr. Paradox was the one behind the hit on her life, she goes full mental and decides to come out of her shell and take revenge.
I'm going to use your little Time Ripper, and I'm going to destroy this universe.
The main enemy quickly shifted from Mr. Paradox back to her slimness herself. With the combined efforts of Deadpool and the Wolverine, they were able to stop Cassandra by working together and literally putting their lives on the line. The Time Reaper machine was destroyed in addition with Cassandra Nova, and Deadpool's universe was finally safe at last. The character arc of the Wolverine leaves a lot to reflect on and think about. This is a man who has been alive for almost 2 centuries, and most of his life he was just using it to drink and be in a perpetual state of anger, regrets and agony. His encounter with Deadpool was actually a way for him to have a second chance. At his lowest point, he gets the golden opportunity to actually redeem himself once again by helping Deadpool. Just like a beautiful black queen once said, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again.
Dust yourself off and try again.